here today with Mike Gray. I'm one of the most popular presenters at Talk Radio. I'm one of this country's best media presenters, Talk Radio's Julia Harley-Brewer.
By Isabel Oakeshott, one of the top political journalists and commentators in this country.
The Brexit hero and Conservative MP Nigel Evans.
With Toby Young, the founder of the Free Speech Union. Well, yes, Annunciata Rees-Mogg, the former Conservative MEP.
So, thanks for coming on the show, Madeline.
Hello, Tom. Welcome to the channel.
Hi, great to be here.
Now we're joined by the one and only Nigel Farage. How are you, Nigel?
Fine, thanks, Mike. Good, yeah.
Some of us are moving on. Not everybody's apparently accepting the result. Right, let's talk about Greta Thunberg. The EU member states attacked the Commission and Germany are now in trouble. If we need more nurses, we will bring more nurses. If we don't need low-skilled workers, we won't bring low-skilled workers.
So I'm currently on Edgware Road and this place is absolutely crazy. I mentioned Owen Jones having this weird meltdown for absolutely no reason.
They don't know what's about to come. This building is about to cause chaos again. Like one of these, but, well, these are actual real flags, but the European Union flag, one of those fake flags.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's live stream with me, Maya TC, your host. We have some update for you guys throughout today. We've had a number of live shows. We had basically going forward. The new model of the channel is I'm going to try and do a morning show, a live show, do a briefing for the whole day, and then do an afternoon show, live again, and an evening debrief live stream. And throughout the day, if there's a couple of stories, we'll do a video for you guys, recorded videos. But this is going to be completely fascinating. Hello to everybody in the live chat. I'm going to come to you guys to get your reaction as usual. But we are talking about the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, and their ambition to take the United Kingdom to get closer to the European Union, whether by rejoining the EU as a member or just basically through the back door, get us closer to the single market, customs union, ECJ, all the other schemes, as if this government already hasn't done that job. But the European Union are not too happy about one or two of the policies coming from the Labour Party. Next year we're going to have the election, and Keir Starmer wants to do something very specific, which we're going to discuss in this video. VAT on private schools, independent schools. That key policy is now becoming a little bit problematic for the future potential Labour government. Guess why? So there are a couple of issues with it domestically, VAT on private schools. It's a classic politics of MB sort of policy anyway. It's actually kind of counterproductive, but the problem we're now facing is actually coming from the European Council itself, because the Council of the European Union, generally speaking, are in charge of coming up with some crazy ideas in the name of directives. And these are regulations that you can't change, and these regulations are done by an unelected body. You can't really question it, you can't really amend it. And if Keir Starmer wants to get closer to the European Union, he needs to dump a lot of his existing policies that are going to be in his manifesto. The EU are not happy with Starmer and Labour, and they've rejected one of their key policies. Why? The VAT policy on private schools goes against the European Union policy. We discovered back in 2006, I discovered that the council directive on the 28th of November 2006, there was a directive on the common system of value added tax, right? So that's the VAT system that we have. One of the issues with this, when you scroll down, you discover this section that I've highlighted. The provision of children's or young people's education, school or university education, vocational training or retraining, including the supply of services and any of goods closely related thereto by bodies governed by public law, having such as the AIM or by other organizations recognized by the member states concerned as having similar objects. Basically, that means that independent schools, or basically any sort of educational issue, is exempt, must always be exempt from VAT. And considering that Keir Starmer recently, only days ago, came out and confirmed that as Prime Minister, this is what he said: we do not want to diverge from EU rules. He literally confirmed we are not going to go, and basically we're going to follow EU rules whether we are a member or not. So that's already fundamentally a big issue for British people who voted to leave the EU. Whether he wants at some point the UK to rejoin, or even if he just wants to follow the EU rules, his key policies, including the VAT on private schools, cannot happen. And the EU are not happy about it. And this is the whole point of this. So one issue, obviously, these guys clearly didn't do their homework to find out if there's going to be any conflict with the Europeans. One issue is the international problem for Labour. The other issue is how counterproductive this policy is domestically. What do I mean by this? There are currently just over 620,000 kids in independent schools across the country. Now, that means if you get rid of private schools, or if you make it difficult for kids to be sent to private schools, so this is like middle classes and the rich people and everybody else, it's going to be a couple of issues. By having parents independently, voluntarily sending their kids and paying for private schools, the country and the budget is saving £45 billion, roughly speaking. And that's also over 1 million parents across the country as voters. So what's the problem with this? If you get rid of private schools, or if you make it difficult for people to be sending their kids to private schools, one, where are you going to put these kids? Because the state education system, in the public schools, state schools, do not have the capacity. They do not have the space for these kids. That's one. Secondly, the cost to the taxpayer. Because right now, these parents are paying tax so that their tax money could fund the state education that other kids are and other parents are using. Fair enough, that's the progressive tax system that we have. But while they pay their tax, they actually then use their own money to send their own kids to independent schools. So on the one hand, they take away a lot of burden from the state schools when it comes to space and classroom sizes. Secondly, they're actually funding their state schools as well as, paying their kids' education. But politically speaking, if you have over 1 million parents and you are now telling them that they have to pay 20% tax extra on top of the existing fees, expensive independent schools, that is a lot of angry voters who are going to not vote Labour. And for those who think that a lot of people in this country vote in election times based on ideology, that they are absolutely wrong. A lot of people in this country who are not political, rightly or wrongly, they would choose who they vote for, sometimes last minute, by finding out a key policy that affects their life. So even if they're angry, for example, at the Tories because of a lot of other things, but if they discover that Keir Starmer's policy means they have to pay 20% even more than they're paying for their kids to go to school, they're going to consider not voting for the Labour Party. So this man and his face snappy is going to be costing the Labour Party an election. But he's also going to be angering his friends in Brussels and Strasbourg. I don't understand. We have the Tory party in government who seem to be doing everything that they can to lose the election. And we have the Labour Party in opposition, seem to be trying to do everything they can to not win the election. Does anybody want to be in charge? All right. Anyway, let's go to the live chat. Get reaction. I don't know how I'm speaking like this. Reaction. Oh God, you're alive again. Yep. I love how you guys are so looking forward to me doing live streams today. Domingo says, Keir Starmer is such a feminine man that he gets bullied by better. Yes, he's a little bit feminine. I don't know if you can say this these days, but I can. It's fine. Chris says, tell Starmer to kiss my ass. What else do we have in the live chat? There is, London Kane says he's about as useful as a stray, an ashtray on a motorbike. Wow, that's a good comment as well. Then there's a few other comments in the live chat that I really can't put on the screen. We're trying to make this a family-friendly show, so feel free to talk in the live chat. I'm just not gonna put it on the screen. This is actually interesting. RCW says, I'm not comfortable with Starmer puppet. This probably answers my question just now when I said, why does it feel like the Tories don't want to win and the Labour Party are also not trying their best to win? I mean, it was a joke, but as a good metaphor for everything else that's been happening, it shows, and as an example, how it doesn't matter which party is in power, because neither of them is going to be in charge, because they're not in charge of the policy direction for the country, are they? Because when you have the globalists getting together with Joe Biden, coming up with policies like the global minimum tax, and Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer, Justin Trudeau, Macron, all of them agreeing to it, what is the point of deciding whether you want to vote for Starmer or Sunak if everybody is going to be doing the same thing anyway? So it's not just the problem with the uniparty thing that it's now become a cool, fashionable phrase everyone's using, because the uniparty thing mostly applies to domestic politics, that it doesn't really matter Tory or Labour. I'm talking on an international level, on a global level. The whole thing is a mess. And for those who say, oh, it's always been the same, it hasn't really been exactly the same. You still had some level of independence. Back in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan called the shots in America. Again, there were certain things that even the American president would not be in charge of. But generally speaking, he was in charge of his own country. Not anymore. Do you really think Joe Biden is running America or the White House? Gordon Taylor says, really, can this guy tie his own shoelace without help? I do like clarification. Is this about Keir Starmer or Maya Tusi? Because it could apply to both Starmer and me. But I'm pretty sure Gordon's talking about Keir Starmer. Barry says, why does it seem a few of the Labour elite males seem to be so-called proud feminists like Sad IQ? That's so true. It reminds me of Ed Miliband. It was Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg, when they were both leaders of Lib Dems and Labour. They started this nonsense, this trend of having political leaders wearing t-shirts saying, I'm a proud feminist. So then they basically created this peer pressure sort of thing, where Miliband wore that t-shirt saying, I'm a proud feminist. He took a picture. Nick Clegg wore the t-shirt saying, I'm a proud feminist, took a picture. A couple of other people as well. And the other parties, they were all female. So you had the Green Party and all the others. And then it came to David Cameron and the Tories. Cameron was like, I'm not doing that. Even David Cameron was not as woke as these people. Oh, dear. Chris apologizes for the swearing, saying, sorry, Maya, it is a family show. It's absolutely okay. Also, it's my responsibility. I'm the one clicking on the messages. So when I'm the presenter and the producer myself, technically I can't really cancel myself, can I? So I can't really have a situation like GB News where you say something as a presenter and then people in the gallery get kind of freaked out. Michael says, hey Maya, is the polling data concerning? Do you think that the Tories could still win the election next year? So, objectively speaking, not to say, well, we support Labour or support Tories, there is a possibility of almost a neck and neck situation. One of them is this whole story tonight, which for those of you who joined late, I'm going to give you a summary in a minute. There are key policies that if Keir Starmer and Labour pursue, they will lose a number of voters. And people think that in this country you get landslide because they look at the number of seats that each party gets at the end of the election. But if you look at the numbers, every election, first past the post, this country is very, very close in terms of how many votes each party needs. The perfect one I remember was 2015. In 2015, the Tories got a majority of 12 seats, I believe. And I discovered that there were a number of key target seats for both parties with tiny majorities. When you calculate those numbers for the Tories, the Tories only won that election by 900 votes. 900. So it seemed like, oh, at the end of the election, they got a majority. Ooh, they're 12 seats extra, more than Labour and all that, right? 900. So anything could happen. And that was the whole point about the 2017 election with Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May, because Theresa May was like here, and then she opened her mouth, and then Jeremy Corbyn went up. But even then, Theresa May still increased the share of the vote for the Tories. People forget that, because everyone remembers her losing the majority. But people forgot that she actually increased the share of the vote for the Tories. But because of the Corbyn voters, the Labour voters, where they were, which seats they were, that changed the result of the election. So basically, yeah, to answer this question, it's definitely possible if a couple of key policies, despite the fact that doesn't mean the country loves the Tories, doesn't mean the country loves Rishi Sunak, but if a couple of stuff goes towards the Tory side, not to say the Tories could get a majority, no, but there could be a very, very good hung parliament, as in good enough for Starmer not to have any authority. Angie says, I'm multitasking, watching Maya and what's left of GB News. This is literally heresy, Angie. Absolute heresy. You can't do that. You can have both on the same, different screens, but make sure GB News is on mute. Yes, you can have them on subtitles, I guess. You don't need that. Also, they keep going on adverts. That's why when we say TV is dead and we are the media, it's because nobody wants to sit there. Every 10 minutes they go on adverts. I do like a sponsorship placement once every 2 days or something, every few days. But TV is boring. Who wants to watch TV? We have me. What else do we have? Sarah Tucker says, we are doomed if either of these two parties get in. Well, that is now a perfect time to give you guys the summary, in case you joined late, of what's been going on tonight in this live stream. It's about Keir Starmer and his love for face nappies, and not really, his love for taxation. So Keir Starmer has a policy to add VAT, 20% VAT on private schools. So it's a perfect politics of envy thing. So a lot of people get excited. Oh yeah, bring down the rich. Yeah, but at what cost? So you have to think about what's going to happen if you make it difficult for all these middle class families to send their kids to independent schools, right? But the European Union are not happy with Keir because it goes against everything that they stand for. Well, specifically, one of the directives from 2006 coming from the European Council. So this is a Council directive from the 28th of November 2006 on the common system of a value-added tax. And it says clearly in one of the paragraphs that schools, education, and any of the supply of services and goods close to education are exempt from taxes, from VAT essentially. So you can't really put VAT on independent schools. So not only Keir Starmer has made the European Union angry, considering that a few days ago he confirmed that as Prime Minister, he will not diverge from EU rules. Whether the UK is a member of the European Union or not, Keir Starmer and the Labour government will continue to follow the European Union. Brilliant, right? So it doesn't really matter that you voted leave. But so he's angered the European Union. They say you're not allowed to do this. Secondly, I love how they can still tell us what to do, by the way. But domestically, there's also complications with this policy. Do you know why? Because there are over 620,000 kids currently in independent schools. And that's actually saving the country, taxpayer, £45 billion, right? A year. And if you make it difficult for these kids to go to independent schools, they're going to have to be forced to go to state schools. We don't have the capacity in state schools to take these kids. And also, that the level of money that we were saving, now the government or the taxpayer has to basically fund the education of these kids. So that's just idiocy. Politically speaking, it's even worse for Labour because there are over 1 million parents who are, well, almost 2 million probably, I don't know, depending on the guardians and godmothers, godfathers and all that, who are going to be angry because their kids can't really be comfortable at independent schools anymore. So that is a lot of votes that could be lost by this leader. So that's the basic summary of what's been going on tonight. Also, I was supposed to be making myself a cup of tea before the live streams. Now, I'm absolutely thirsty, and the only thing I have is this. Ugh. I'm absolutely sad. Maybe I should open my... do you remember, I don't know if you guys were watching last night, but I started to get tempted to open my Nigel Farage gin. I got a Farage gin. Oh dear. Jeff says VAT on private schools is a typical envious Labour policy. Starmer has not thought this through again. Of course he hasn't. And it's brilliant because both parties are now being run by kids. And I'm not even kidding, because I've met people close to Rishi Sunak in number 10. And I've met some of the people close to Keir Starmer in Westminster. They're all in their early 20s. and the only experience they have is in politics. It is sad. Absolutely sad. Are we saying that Keir Biden is losing his marbles? Keir Biden. I love that name. We don't watch TV anymore. We fly the flag. We are there. The TV aerial used to be. Oh, that's nice. Yes, exactly. You don't need... TV is dead. Just watch my TC instead. What is this? They both wear face masks. They might share the same bed. Is that about Biden and Starmer, or Starmer and Rishi? That could be anyone. All right. Alan says, I wonder how long it will be before you are censored, Maya TC. It's coming. The globalists will take over the internet, but Maya TC is uncancelable. They can try, but they will fail. I have many faces. If they cancel me, I'm going to set up a new channel. I don't care. No, nothing's going to happen. I've got... I don't know. I'm careful. I'm trying to be careful not to say anything crazy. And I'm surprised. All the things I've been saying recently, especially about the World Economic Forum and everything else, could have been much worse. Could have been much worse for me. But I still survive. I'm still here. Right. Let's see what we have here. But also, I'm working on something, jokes aside, to answer to Alan. Because of all this censorships and big tech and everything else, there is a fear of, at least when it comes to demonetization and losing the ad revenue and censorship in terms of content, because I still have to live as a human if I want to make you guys all these videos every day. So I'm thinking of there is a platform that could actually help get some of you, if you want to support the channel and the movement, to go there. It's basically linked to Rumble. I'll keep you guys posted when I do something with that at some point. It's going to be soon, by the way, within the next few days. Just as a backup to have something. And also that way, you guys, if you're supporting the channel, like some of you already are on YouTube, the YouTube membership, we can actually get more out of the channel, out of me. And you can get in touch with me directly. So if you want to do that, then if you wait a few days, I will give you guys the announcement. All right, so yeah, that's basically the latest update on it. And I now want to talk to you guys about a couple of other things, if you are patient tonight. It's not just about Keir Starmer tonight. I also want to talk to you guys about Wales, because the petition for the against the 20 miles per hour policy of Mark Drakeford has now reached a new number. Let me give you the latest figure. For those who haven't seen this, I'm going to put it on the screen. This is absolutely impressive. I'm also going to give you the web address for this petition in case you haven't signed it yet. The Welsh Parliament, we want the Welsh Government to rescind and remove the disastrous 20 miles per hour law, right? Guess the number of signatures. Ready? Oh yeah, 449,672 signatures. Almost 500,000 signatures on this petition. Absolutely well done to everybody in Wales and those supporting freedom in Wales for backing and signing this petition against Mark Drakeford's 20 miles per hour nonsense. By the way, this policy is widespread. It's also going to be considered, as we have said, in London by Sadiq Khan and many others as well. What else do we have? Maya talking about a new platform to make money. For a second there, I thought he's going to do OnlyFans. No, firstly, I'm not doing a new platform to make money, for the record. It's simply as a backup for the YouTube membership and everything else. But OnlyFans, maybe. I mean, I could do really well on OnlyFans, I can assure you. Believe me. Let's see what you guys have to say about Wales. Pete says it needs to hit 1 million. Yes, continue supporting the petition if you haven't already. I can't post. Can I post the link? Let me try and post the link in the live chat. Actually, if I do it, you're going to leave the live stream. Do not leave the live stream. I'll post the link here, but I'll post it again at the end of the live stream as well. Don't worry. So you could click on it and sign it. Don't go anywhere yet, because I want to also talk to you guys about another issue which is kind of annoying at this point. Greg Hands, who is the chairman of the Tory party, has said this. I'm just going to show you this. Hang on, give me a second. The Tory party that has gone a little bit woke and liberal over the last few years, let's to be nice about it, have decided to get even more radical with so-called liberalism, right? Watch this. Where is it? I'm struggling. There we go. So, Greg Hands has said that half of all Tory candidates should be women. This is according to the party chairman of the Conservatives. Yeah, the Conservatives. Oh, this is just absolutely embarrassing right now, what's going on in our country. So, it is also important to note that people like Greg Hands were the originals. When the wave of George Osborne and David Cameron and those guys happened, the modern Tories, as they called themselves at the time, modern Conservatives, these people completely destroyed the Tory party. The idea was to make the Tory party less out of touch and less kind of like a dinosaur. And we got that. I was like, okay, this could be interesting. But then they forgot to put a brake on it. They went towards liberalism and liberalism and liberalism, and they just couldn't stop. And it's still going. I thought the idea was in 2010 or 2005, 2010, for David Cameron to make the Tory party slightly more modern, right? But it started with hugging huskies and hugging tree and then big society, and then just went too green and too liberal, and now half the Tory candidates should be women, the other half should be gay, the other half should be disabled, on a wheelchair and black. I just don't understand what's going on right now, because there is clearly no concept of merit left in British politics, or at least in the mainstream parties. Vicky says, shouldn't it just be whoever is the most qualified? No, because clearly that's not really how it works anymore. Even before this statement, the lack of merit was happening way before this, unfortunately, because before the quotas and all this nonsense about half a candidate should be this or that. The reason I say this is because the Tories or the Labour Party, both of them, they have been working based on and picking candidates based on how much of a slave you are, how much of a good slave you are to the party and to the system. So if you want to be a good Tory candidate, ideally you want to be gay. If you can't be gay, try to be a woman. If you can't be a woman, then you have to be a slave every weekend, ideally, maybe one evening throughout the week, deliver a lot of leaflets to different houses and knock on some doors, do some canvassing, make sure to take a selfie, post it on social media, retweet the party leader and the Prime Minister, say how much you love the dear leader, and don't have any opinion of yourself, and sacrifice your own private life, spend a lot of money to be a candidate, and even if you become an MP, you might be a backbencher and you will never not going to get anywhere. After a few years, you're going to get kicked out, and then that's it. So for those considering becoming a Tory candidate, that was a summary. Oh dear. All right, what do we have in this live chat? Yeah, you guys are talking about the 20 miles per hour update. Susie says 20 miles per hour speed limit may be legal, but it's not a lawful imposition. And every person should be taken by the best. Every position should be taken by the best candidates. Women and ethnic minorities should not be given preferential treatment. Obviously, absolutely spot on. What is going on? The disconnected Roma says, moan, moan, moan. The right wing are the new socialist justice warriors. Apparently, we are moaning because our politicians are idiots. I do love how when the left wingers like this comment end up defending the Tories because we are complaining about the Tories, saying, "Oh, stop moaning! Oh, the Tories have done nothing wrong. You're just moaning, you right wingers." Like, you do realize you're defending the government. Oh dear. Faceless free. I am having to watch the stream with a delay. If you don't, the picture freeze and you look silly. I always look silly, but I apologize. Well, I don't know what's going on. I'm sure it's your internet. Don't blame me. All right, let's see. Is this everything? Okay, cool. I don't understand what's going on anymore. I hope you enjoyed tonight's live stream, and I hope you enjoyed... Oh, there we go. We have a good confirmation. I'm not a left winger. Well, good to know. What are you, a centrist or a far right? I don't know. People have titles and labels these days. I don't like labels. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the live streams and the other videos that we did throughout the day. The new model on the channel, I try my best to do a morning briefing live stream. Then we do an afternoon catch-up live stream. And then we'll do an evening debrief live stream. You don't have to be available for all of them. You can watch them afterwards, recorded. But try to be there during the live stream because it will help the video to be suggested by the YouTube more, especially if you essentially like and comment and everything else that people do. On that note, before I go, make sure to click on the thumbs up button and like the video. That will really help. And thanks for all the love and all the support on my 2C. And we are the media.